USA, and she also has a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship and business management from the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. She has anchored several publications, some of which includes Business Analytics, From Big Data to Brief Details, Redefining Healthcare, Internet of Things and Business Intelligence, Business Analysis, How and Why Do I Need to Evolve? She also has articles published in B.A. Times, Business Day, ThisDay Newspapers, The News Guru, Guardian Newspapers, the Nigerian Tribune, and the Punch newspaper. She is presently the principal anchor on a book project titled Business Analysis Bridging the Gap Across Industries, which was recently published on Amazon and Seller. So please, let's try and get the book. I'm sure it's going to be really, really insightful. And she works presently as an IT business analyst and project manager, and also serves as the vice president of technology for the BA Tampa Bay chapter. She's a member of IIBA Tampa Bay chapter and serves on the IIBA board of directors. In her free time, she enjoys cooking and singing. Hi, Esther. So I would love to hear you sing. That's one. And two, can you please tell me one of your favorite dishes that you enjoy cooking? Just one, like your favorite.
Okay, firstly, okay, this is not what we planned. Okay, favorite dish. I'd say I'm a Nigerian, like born and bred.
Yeah.
So I'll say it's egusi soup because that's my favorite.
Oh, nice, nice. All right. It's good to have you join us once again. We really appreciate you, joining us on the call. So I'll hand over to you now so you can, take over from here.
Yep. Thank you very much, everyone. Firstly, I want to be sure, can we all see my screen? Yes, okay, good. All right. So firstly, good morning from my end of the world, and it's nice to be here again. I think the last time I was with Dobac was last year, and it was a very, very wonderful experience. So thank you, Oga Dobac, for this wonderful opportunity again. And this is something I do not take for granted. So today we are going into something that's super helpful. It's something we relate to, or we can relate to as business analysts. I know we have on the call, we have business analysts from different industries. Not everybody's an IT business analyst. Not everybody's an healthcare business analyst. Not everybody is in the education industry. Not everybody's in consulting, blah, blah, blah. We're all from different industries and different spheres of the world. So we've encountered a whole lot of things. But I think as a foundation, when I started my career, one thing that was very important to me was having resources available to me that I could learn from, that I could and having people that I could collaborate with. And I've had a ton of questions from people new to the field of business analysis, and even people that are business analysts, on how do I get projects to build my skills? How do I have access to some of all these tools? Because you would see some job descriptions today. Oh, we need somebody that knows how to use Visio. We need somebody that knows how to use Miro. We need somebody that is good in SQL. We need somebody good in Power BI. Like, some of all these tools are defined. So how exactly would I fit in? Because some people would see all these job descriptions, all these job adverts, and because of that, some are discouraged from even applying. And you would see some specific job adverts that would say, we want somebody with extensive experience in this particular thing, forgetting the fact that you're calling or you're asking for extensive experience. Most people get to learn also on the job. Not everybody has access to some of all these tools. And even the extensive experience that some of all these companies are looking out for, there's something called an enterprise license. So some of all these tools that we are even talking about, they have this enterprise license that you would not have access to. As a freelancer or as somebody that is just new to your career, for example, are you going to pay for an enterprise license for, let's say, Miro, for example? If I see anybody doing that, I'll question the person like, okay, I think you have a lot of money, come and give it to me. So some of all these tools, we do not have that full-blown access. And in that situation, how do we learn? Not every organization has that opportunity. Like not every organization would give you that opportunity to learn on the job, but there are some organizations that will give you that opportunity. Now, one major thing we're looking at today is a skill that is very, very important, especially as the world is evolving. I always say, and I always encourage, business analysts, you need to evolve. Like the world is changing. But one major skill that we should have as business analysts, we need to be flexible and we need to be dynamic. As the industry changes, we need to evolve with it. You need to understand what is happening at this particular time. How can I move with the flow? How can I make myself better? Now, what we're looking at is prototyping and wireframe. Just forget all the plenty stories on the slides. But before I go forward, I would also want to make this as interactive as possible. So I'm going to be throwing some questions to people. And if you want to unmute to answer some of the questions, please go ahead. The first question is going to be, let's see. All right. So I don't want to assume that everybody on this call is a professional business analyst. Like, is there, that's even the, as if there's even a word like that, professional business analyst. So would you prefer to have clear requirements before you work on the project, or would you prefer the requirements are unclear? You can answer in the comment section, you can raise your hand, you can unmute. So let's see. Would you prefer clear requirements or unclear requirements? Okay, I'm seeing, okay, clear requirements, good. I'm really hoping I'll get somebody that would put on clear requirements. I'm hoping to see somebody. Is there somebody that has that orientation? If there's somebody good, I like this person. Mr. Adewale Agoke, I have a question for you. Are you an Agile BA?
Yes.
Those are the only people. Let's be frank. So when you see somebody that is telling you that I can work with unclear business requirements, the next question you ask them is that, are you Agile? So if they answer yes, okay, Mr. Dobac to said unclear, so I have something to do. Okay, but let's be realistic. Regardless of whatever BA structure that is implemented in any organization, regardless of how unclear that requirement is, it has to be clear at the end of the day. That's why you have multiple iterations and have you. So let's go to, so another question, have you created, is there anybody here? Have you created a wireframe before? If you have created a wireframe before, you can identify, put in the comment section. So as a heads up, we're going to be working on 2 projects. We're going to be creating wireframes. So if you have experience creating wireframes before or prototypes, yes or no? So let's see the tools, the bus of tools or the mix of tools that we have in the house. Okay, someone is saying Azure, RP, and Balsamic. Good. Okay, so Balsamic, okay. Let's see. And if you also don't have experience with any wireframing tool, please feel free to also put no. We're all here to learn. Okay, Akman, what tool have you used before? Let's see. Okay, Mr. Shelm, no. Figma, O'Shea. Those are the bosses. All right, that's good. Who else? So I'm seeing majorly Figma, Azure RP, and Balsamic. Draw.io. Those are the wee. I like this person, this Mr. Ray. Or if the Ray is a Mr. Thank you very much. There are people like us that like freebies. Like when you have something that is free, you use it. So is there any other person? Yeah, Visio and PowerPoint. Yeah. For wireframing, I have my reservations. I love Microsoft Visio. I think if there's something the Dobac community would know about me, I am big on Microsoft Visio. But for me to tell you that I don't enjoy Microsoft Visio with wireframings or prototype, maybe. Okay. Now for the agile gurus amongst us, I would say a final question would be, do you prefer, especially your agile, do you understand that structure? Would you prefer an iterative design model or a traditional design model? What would basically work for you as an individual or as a business analyst? Would you want your design wireframes to be iterative or traditional? Let me give the difference. Iterative is you keep updating based on the requirements as they change, you keep updating as it goes. But traditional, your requirements are clear and fixed from the very beginning, from the word go. And having that, you know what you're designing and you know what you're dealing with from the foundation. Okay. It's like the people that love stress, they like iterative. That's wonderful. So somebody gives you feedback, you now come back, you change. All right. Based on business need. Okay. That's understandable. All right. So let's go right into it. So these are the plenty stories that I'm going to be talking about, but I'm not going to be reading the PowerPoint. I'll just take it as it goes. Now, wireframing in business analysis. The truth is, as business analysts, like I mentioned before, we are dynamic. We have to evolve, whether we like it or not. Now, why do we need wireframes? Why or where does wireframe come in the entire BA lifecycle? Or maybe if you're dealing with a software project, so in the entire SDLC, where does wireframing or prototyping come in? Now, the essence of wireframing is for you to bring your requirements to life. The essence of having prototypes is for you to bring your requirements to life. Now, as business analysts, we know that we have our functional requirements and we know that we have our non-functional requirements. Sorry, I'm staying very close to this one. That's why there's a reflection. Now, we have our functional and non-functional requirements. Now, these requirements actually form the basis of whatever project that we're working on. And that is where our superpower as business analysts come in. How are these requirements gathered? Okay, I have a friend, and I think Thea is on the call. I was in a meeting with Thea and Aaron Wittenberger, the Vice President of Finance for the Bluegrass chapter, and he said, we are business analysts, we don't gather requirements. So some people do not like that word requirement gathering. You'd see a whole lot of people like that. Okay, elicit, oh, sorry, exactly. So as business analysts, whether we extract the requirements or we elicit the requirements, at least we're getting the requirements. Now, we getting these requirements, how do we make it live? Because say you have a project or you're supposed to build a product. Now, how do you at least present this to your stakeholders? Like, okay, these are the requirements you're talking about. Say in the long run, we have to build a website, or the website is supposed to have this feature, it's supposed to have this requirement, it's supposed to meet this, it's supposed to do this, it's supposed to do that. Now, why do we have this? We need wireframes to be able to effectively translate our requirements. And when we effectively translate it, it's more relatable, it's easier to understand. So when people are talking theoretical, oh, theory, this, they're saying it in theory, they're able to see it like, okay, I'm not just saying this thing theoretically, this is how it's going to look like. This is how this is the visual feel. then it also helps to reduce ambiguity, because we have a whole lot of people that just, like I said, they just keep hearing the theories, the theories, the theories. How exactly will it relate? How exactly can it be applied? How exactly would I interact with it? So wireframes helps us to actually reduce ambiguity as much as possible and to facilitate smooth transitions. Like from the design phase to even development, you have a common understanding such that you already had a wireframe, an approved wireframe. When you've extracted your requirements, you've done you've prioritized your requirements, you know what requirements you're dealing with in the course of that project. Now, as the business analyst, you're bringing the requirements to life, and you're ensuring that, especially if you're in an agile framework, you're ensuring that you're making regular updates. Everybody has an updated version, an updated knowledge of the requirements they're working with per time. There is a smooth transition such that when, say, for example, a product is finally completed, you can go back to the prototype and use it to analyze, like, okay, this was the design we had, this is the model we had, and this is how we were able to achieve this, or this is the final result. So wireframing helps us to ensure that we have enhanced communication, we have better discussions, because now you're having communications based on facts. You're having communications based on, oh, this is how it's going to look, not having theoretical conversations, and having clear expectations. Or somebody tells you, I want this particular website to be able to accept payments. A website can accept payments in different forms. It's not just accepting payment. Do you want to break down the payment received? Say, let's say it's an NGO, for example, or a non-profit. Do you want to collect funds based on different quotas? Do you want somebody to donate $10? Do you want somebody to donate $100? Do you want somebody to donate $50? That requirement is very broad. I want the website to be able to collect money, but you need to break it down, because in the person's mind, I want the website to be able to collect money. The person is not telling you something very specific. We need to have those specifics. So you have clear expectations, not the one that you now go and design, or you now go and develop, you rush to development, and the person says, I wanted the website to actually be able to do this with money collection. So that's where you're not able to draw the line between what your requirements are and what the expectations are as business analysts. But I need to sound a note of warning. As business analysts, you don't sell ice cream. You're not there to make everybody happy. You're actually there to manage people, like as a stakeholder. When I mean you don't sell ice cream, it's not everybody you're going to make happy, but you have to be sure you know what you're doing, understand the project, understand your domain, and understand your stakeholders, and know how best to manage everybody, have that very good relationship. But don't say because one stakeholder is very, very this, I will make him happy at the expense of another person. As I said, you don't sell ice cream. So we have to ensure that before we go into development, we introduce wireframing or prototyping at the very beginning. And why is that? We want to save time. We don't want to spend so much. You need to save cost. And it gives you that constant feedback loop where people are able to provide feedbacks. Now, some of all these wireframing tools, they have comment sections. It's just like when you have a Microsoft document and your manager is passing reviews or comments based on what you've worked on, and they track the changes, you have the comments. Some of all these tools actually have comments that can also be tracked. So for clear communication and clear expectations, is very, very important that we make use of wireframes. Now, as I mentioned earlier, and I also asked everybody in the comment section, we have a bunch of tools. But before you select a tool, now, the reason I had to bring this slide in is this. There are times we are in an organization, not every organization is going to have a business analysis center of excellence, like a BACOE. Now, in a situation or in an organization where you are the only business analyst, for example, and your expertise is called upon, okay, what tool do we use for this particular thing, for this particular project? Or based on our track record as an organization, this is what we do, these are the projects we handle, these are the stakeholders we have, these are the things we do, blah, blah, blah. What tools do you recommend? So if you want to select a tool, it must be usable. The tools must have collaboration, like ease of collaboration, such that if you even bring in an external stakeholder, at least a guest editing access, at least, then the tool should be able to like very like easily integrate with whatever software or platform you're working on. So there are so many tools that have difficulty in integrating with whatever existing platforms or softwares or tools that an organization presently has. So we need to be sure what works in your organization. So find out the integration capability of that particular software. Then you ensure that you have whatever wireframing tool, it supports both low fidelity and high fidelity. Now I'm going to explain low fidelity and high fidelity as we go, but let me just give that explanation. So a low fidelity wireframe is a wireframe that is basic, is what we'll say like the high level overview of what you want to cover. But a high fidelity wireframe goes into details, like, oh, this particular section of, say, this particular website or this particular product, this is what we're going to be doing. This is what this is going to cover. So you need to be sure that some of all those tools can actually do those things. Presently, even though it's not a wireframing tool, in my organization, we have a lot of WBS tools, but I know my IT team. Okay, and another thing is, in a couple of conversations I've had with people, I try to be as factual and make use of the scenarios I'm in to make it relatable. The people on my IT team, they hate ClickUp like no man's business. So even though it's an institutional tool that we have to use, I also have to be very careful, because now I know that if this project involves me using ClickUp, for example, the bulk of the updates, the bulk of the follow-up falls on me. So you also have to consider people's preferences, even though their preferences is not what is going to pay for the tool. But also have that, just know how to strike that balance and gauge people's interest. Yes, we have Figma, we have Balsamic, we have Adobe XD, we have a whole bunch. You have the Prototype, Mockflow, Canva. Canva actually does a bit of wireframing. You have wireframe.cc, mockups, and some of all these tools actually are integrated with AI. So using this, you can actually test their AI capabilities as much as possible. And let me just also give you a hint. If you had the opportunity of schooling in, say, any country, like let's say in the US, or any institution that gives you a .edu email account. Now, this is, some people know, but if you want to have access to some tools, like cheaper, like lower cost, if you have a .edu account, a student account, that actually gives you cheaper costs for some platforms. And some platforms would actually give you an education license. That is, there are some that are absolutely free. So being a student qualifies you for advanced versions of some of all these softwares or some of all these tools. So that's a freebie from me to you. If you have displaced the password to your .edu account, go and look for it. Now, what would be core wireframe techniques? Low fidelity, like I mentioned, they're just basic. You use that to brainstorm when you're having like initial conversations in a team. Then the high fidelity wireframes, they are detailed. You have your design elements. It closely resembles your final product. And they are real, they are realistic. Then there are some prototypes that when you work on, you could create clickable prototypes that would give you a feel of the final product, even though it's not the final product. So all those things are available on that high fidelity wireframes. Then one of the case studies that we're going to be looking at today, it's actually going to be focused on some of all these things. When you, okay, James is saying a key challenge is aligning stakeholders on wireframes. Yeah. To map flows, scenarios, and use cases, while UX designers usually create high fidelity mockups. Exactly. Now, we have UX designers that would actually focus on high fidelity mockups, but we also have BAs that are very good in creating high fidelity mockups, especially in an organization where they are very, very wonderful when it comes to costs. So they might want, oh, the BA is able to handle this. and that. So it also helps to also build our skill sets as much as possible. If you are very good, maybe low fidelity, but if you also want to build your skill set as much as possible, shoot for knowing how to create high fidelity designs. It would actually be very helpful. Now, before you now go into wireframing, understand, it's very critical to understand the flows. It's very critical for you to know, okay, if you're dealing with, say, an application or a website, how will a user navigate? Like, try to visualize the user's experience, try to visualize the end user's journey, more like a user journey kind of thing. Try to visualize how you want the flow to be. You can actually write it down. Oh, the person is going to, I want the person to log in. If the person is going to log in, well, the person should have an email address, or the person should have a password. You having that visualization would actually help you to know and structure how your flows would be, your wireframes would be. Then, for every organization, there are some organizations that have a structure as to how their wireframings will be. There are some organizations that would allow you to, they'll give you creative license, like whatever you want to come up with. But some organizations will be firm on, oh, these are our do's when it comes to wireframing. These are our don'ts when it comes to wireframing. So understand the basis of, or the structure of whatever organization you you belong to. But I also wanted to mention, for low fidelity wireframes and high fidelity wireframes, the truth is the low fidelity is not like it's low, like low in IQ, or it's low like if you are able to develop a low fidelity wireframe, you are not an expert. No, that actually most often than not serves as the foundation. So you cannot build a house without the foundation. So we need to understand that having that basic foundation is very, very important as business analysts. Now, for stakeholder collaboration, when we want to, I've talked about this before, for wireframes, we use it to communicate, to enhance our discussions, and to provide clarity and also feedback. So when we have the feedback from our stakeholders, for example, how do we now implement this? That's why it's very important we have our stakeholders aligned with every step in the journey, and ensure that we have early feedback collection. Like, it's not at the end when it is, if you have preset project timelines, nobody answers, even though that's all those things are actually built into the BA plan. Then it will also help you to refine your project direction. Like, you know, okay, this is the way this project is going. This is how we are going to achieve it. This is how we're going to achieve a successful outcome. This is going to be our final output. This is going to be our final product. And we can, when we're doing our final analysis or evaluation of our solution, final solution, like the solution evaluation, are able to say, oh, this was the model, this is what we achieved, it's achieving this based on our requirements and all that. So having all those details clearly spelled out would be very helpful. Then it helps to align the expectations of our stakeholders. Now, for the iterative people, when you're dealing with iterative design development, like I mentioned earlier, it's continuous improvement. Like, the updates are made regularly, and not that the updates are made regularly, like, oh, regularly. Yeah, it has to be regular because different things might change. But the goal of that entirely is to ensure that the final product, it meets the needs of the users. And we're not just having a final product that meets the needs of the users, it has also integrated different comments and feedback. So your wireframing is helpful before they now start development, because if they now start development, it's more expensive at that time and time consuming to begin to make updates. So ensure we try as much as possible that our wireframings meet up with that particular criteria, at least before development, to save cost. Now, I know this is not just restricted to this, but maybe we could also post in the comment section, what ways do you also recommend to obtain user feedback, say based on wireframes that you've created? we have usability testing, we have surveys, we have focus groups. But apart from this, what other ways do you think we can obtain user feedback? Now, this is something as business analysts, we have different techniques. So what BA technique do you think would be very useful to generate or to obtain user feedback? Let's have that feedback in the chat section. Does anybody have any recommendation? Yep, the issue log. Okay. Does anybody know what the issue log is? Is there anybody that doesn't understand what an issue log is? You can say yes, you can say no. Not everybody knows. Okay. Okay, and then wants to know what an issue log is. Okay, Thea, do you want to unmute and explain what an issue log is?
Sure. An issue log is usually kept in Excel. A spreadsheet's an easy way to do it. Every line is numbered, so it's easy to reference line number 2. You don't have to read the whole title. You have a topic. You have an explanation of I want this changed, or I'm concerned about this. You have identified who is raising the issue, the date the issue was raised, who should respond to it. You needed that column. You also need the resolution or the next steps, and then you need the date it's resolved. You need a status in there too. So I like open and closed. I also like to use conditional formatting, so it's easy to go through and just see these are red. We need to talk about these. So as we go through it, we can go from top to bottom and go through and resolve those.
Okay. Was that clear enough? Okay, great. Thank you, Thea. So, okay. So the truth is, yeah, okay, someone also said it's also called a query log. Now, it's very, very important as business analysts. I think one of our superpowers is documentation. Yeah, there are some based on different methodologies that are applied or adopted in every organization. There is light documentation. But personally, I feel that keeping record of all these things actually helps. And at the end of the project, especially if you're a business analyst also serving as a project manager, keeping all those logs would help you to effectively document your lessons learned. So it also depends on your role. Now, not every organization will keep an issue log because it also depends on the kind of project, but also understand what ways your organization or what applies or what basically works in the organization. Now, for best practices when we're dealing with wireframing, you have to maintain consistency in design. You're not using blue on homepage and on the, let's say, sign-in page, you have purple. Not because it's colors or it deals with colors, but if you're even dealing with colors for wireframings or even the, let's say, websites, we have to be factual or have a focus on keeping the brand identity or the branding of that particular organization. So you're not just dealing with colors because I know how to, I love colors. I know how to mix colors. I know what color, which one is primary color. I know the secondary color. I know the tertiary color. No, you are sticking with what your organization's branding is, except if it's not required. But that is what helps every organization to maintain consistency. And if you have a very, very strict marketing department, yeah, like Vivian is saying, you have to follow, they always have a branding policy. Now, I have a project I'm working on that we're wrapping up at the moment. Now, this is an SaaS, like there is a limitation to whatever updates we can make. Now, I didn't like the outlook. The other members of the project team didn't like the outlook. And we're like, oh, we're going to design this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. In fact, I had my wireframing requirements of what I was going to do. And at the end of it, all the story that touches the heart, and we went to marketing, and marketing gave me just a simple line. The only thing that should be changed based on the branding policy is, and they gave me the color gradient. I think it's a gradient. When they give you the number, like this particular color is black, you think it's black. No, maybe it is 00001. And that's all. there's nothing anybody can do, because their goal is to ensure brand consistency. So know what applies or works in your organization, so you don't go and create a product that they'll come back and say it doesn't align with our design. Then templates. See, there is no special award. Yes, there are times you can create templates on your own. You can build from the scratch. There are people that are very good with that. Using some of all these tools, you also have templates available. If you know that somebody has used a particular template, to save yourself stress and time, you can make modifications on that template. Just stick to a template, or get a template that you can modify, a template that you can like adopt or fix to different things. You can build from the scratch if you have that strength and that grace. Good luck. But there's nothing bad. So if you have templates, you can save your time, use it. Then these best practices at most will help you to improve efficiency in whatever you're doing. So at this point, we're going to be going right into our practical session. Now, what we're basically doing, let me move this. Okay, so let me stop presenting this slide and move this document here. So for those on the Dobac community, they should have gotten this document. If this document is new to anyone on this call, I think I'll find a way to share it. Let me see if I'm able to. Is it possible to upload the documents in the comment section, please?
So we're gonna drop a link where they can have access to that though.
Okay, that's fine. So I am going to share the link to the boards. The first thing I want to mention is this. We have 3 questions or 3 case studies. Now, we have the first case study is okay. Now, this is the first case study. You have your functional requirements and you have your non-functional requirements, and a mini guide as to some things that might help when you're working on the wireframes. We also have another case study. So we have an option to work on an online menu and ordering system case study, or to work on a community library case study. Now, the third case study is like doing on your own, take home practice, whatever you want to do, just for personal practice. Now, I'm going to give access. This is going to be the first, the link to the first board. That's the link for the online library. So if anyone is interested in working on the online library case study, that's the link. And put it in the link to the second one for the online menu and ordering system. So those are the 2 links. Let's see. If we have access tomorrow, can we try to log in? Let me see if anybody is having issues accessing it. Okay, I can see people already on. So before we start working, let's just hold on to give a brief background. Okay, I can see someone visiting Painter. Okay, all right, we're having people joining. Good. Now, the goal of this is to put on our creative caps, creative hats, and based on the case study, you have your requirements. As much as possible, the requirements are clear, and if they are unclear, put on your agile cap at this point. But the goal is you being able to visualize the requirements as much as possible. Now, for every team, before we start, we're going to go into breakout rooms. Some people are already working. Please just hold on. Please just give me a minute. We're going to go into breakout rooms. So those that joined the online menu system, you'd go into the breakout room for that. And those that joined the library would go into the breakout room for that. Now, in your breakout rooms, please assign a group leader or a team leader that is going to give a 5 to 7 minutes presentation on what you guys have worked on and how your end product or the result is effectively capturing the requirements and maybe talking us through the process. Then also for the second group, so we need a group leader. If you want to have 2 presenters, however way you want to structure. So you're not just working on the mock-ups, you're not just doing that, you are also applying your BA techniques, like your BAs, like having that conversation as a team or as a group. So Dobac, is the breakout rooms available for everybody?
Absolutely.
All right.
Hi, Esther. So what's the duration for the breakout session?
So this is 10:43. I want us to have 30 minutes.
10 minutes?
30
minutes. All right.
Yep, 30
Okay,
minutes.
All right. So we'll get a notification to join our breakout rooms. So please let's do that now. Yeah. All right. So at the end of 30 minutes, we join back. All right. See you guys.
So let's join a breakout room if you're still in the main section. So anybody joining the main room, we have access to join the breakout rooms. So pick any of the 2 breakout rooms and join them. We have a couple of people already in the breakout rooms. So if anybody is having difficulties joining a breakout room, you could signify. I can see Ali. Ali, do you want to join a breakout room? Donald?
Hi, this is Vivian. So
Yep.
I opened the Miro for the launch menu, but I think you actually send me to the library. And I think they're having audio issue in that group anyway.
Okay, David.
Yeah.
If not, you could also share the links again so I could join the
Okay.
library group. That's okay with me.
Don, what's his name? Vivian wants to join the menu group, the online ordering group, but I think he was assigned to the library.
No worries.
If I'm not come together now. It's on select now.
You can try Control Z.
Then you still together. Yeah. I think I'll leave it like that.
Just leave it that way.
So the location I wanted to type
in brackets on
There are already check boxes for online and in-person.
okay, below, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's
nice.
brilliant. So this one will go there. I'll delete this one.
Just delete that one, then you cannot drag that one up. Yeah, just drag the whole box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, next one.
You might have still on location, will you still be able to select which location are you from? Yeah, so let's see. Can you check the boxes? Yeah, you can check the box. But we need to find a way to delete this extra checkbox.
Please let us put in the remaining ones first before we just have 6 minutes left.
So the next one then is just
the category and image.
The image.
Category and image. So what do you guys think? Okay, what for category?
Just use a box now, just like the one for brief description. Just copy down and paste it underneath the location.
Okay.
Well, I'm thinking that the category might need to be a drop down so that you can choose from different categories.
No, that is not. New designs now, they don't make use of drop down. Drop down is web form and policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean when you say it's not part of the web form policy?
The new what they call WTS something now. We don't do drop down. Like if you go to government sites, how their work for need to be intuitive and easy for customers. First one don't need to start with drop down. It should just be a button or a checkbox.
Okay, like a checkbox, like stuff like for location.
Yes, checkbox or a radio button. You have a radio button, we use a checkbox. That's what we use.
So we should be able to display all the available categories then for the user to select.
I think I'm just going to be able to put category there as a general.
Just hold on, let me check something. This one.
Okay.
In that category side, if you take this one, you can copy this one, then I will have something down here. Then if you have this thing again, then you check it as a category.
So it seems like Dobac gave you guys additional 10 minutes. So that means you guys to be able to do more. But this is looking good actually.
Then change that to change this one here to technology. And change the other one to arts. Change the second one here to arts. Then take the third one, language.
Sorry, Araba, where are you editing? Okay, I've seen it. I've seen your editing. Yeah. So I was looking for what you are doing.
Okay.
You know, I'm still quite curious. If the new policy says no to drop downs, then what happens in situations where there are just more than 4 lists of items to pick from?
More than
How would that be?
The problem is so there is not. I think check government side is the new template. How your focus is customer central. So the customer don't need to start doing it lockdown. Not everybody wants to go through that process. They want to see the button and
we actually use drop downs. Okay, I should use like NIMSI as an example. NIMSI in Nigeria, like if you want to do your modifications, there are drop down list of things you want to modify. So you have to click on it and you see like drop down of list of things you want. Then you select the one.
Now you said Nigeria, sorry, now Nigeria you talk about. If you understand. So
he did not specify the country, he said government. So I'm trying to use Nigeria as a case study.
Okay, no, I'm not talking about Nigeria here. So they have a new policy now how to make your website to look like. So people are more concerned about radio button and not drop down. Imagine you have drop down is of like 18 or 16 selection. You want to do a drop down, they start scrolling. But the drop down is applicable for addresses and things like that.
No, what she's saying that if you have like maybe 5 or 10 options, so how would the user pick using drop down?
After the person even present it, like you have so many fields to pick from. The classic example. So the classic example, you're searching for a location.
If it's location, you have a drop down.
One of the boxes is blank after the language.
Yeah, try to edit that one under language, but I can't edit it.
Okay, cannot put any.
I can't even. I'm pressing backspace now. It's not going through.
Just hold on. Let's
one of the option in that you put there.
Let's take it off. Take it off. Then use this one. Use this one. This one.
Okay, let me edit that.
Yeah, this one is good.
Okay, so the next one that we need to work on is the image.
All right. Is this okay? Underneath the dates and time.
Yeah,
okay.
It's okay, but it's not yet. Do we need to
know it should be it should be under cards. Okay,
it should be under location.
It should be under what? Location.
Yeah, the
location. That should be location.
Labeled as location. No, the content that this person needs to be labeled as location.
Oh, sorry, Araba. Just the way you did marketing, email, news, and can you just do this online and email it, please?
Okay. Okay, let's see. So this one is this.
So this one, right?
Yeah, there should be a title there, location.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming just one.
Okay.
I think you can just type inside the exact.
Yeah, just type inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, very okay now.
Can you figure out a way to delete the third box?
Yeah, no, I think it's the way they did this.
Yeah, I think it's in this.
Okay.
They just want us to know that it's Emmanuel that designed it.
The last one, image.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's think about the image. What should we put there? Then we'll search for an image.
To see image optional. Is it image to see the copy of the book or what exactly?
You know, it's a library, so this is creative. Someone put this, yeah, just nice.
Or maybe something like the logo. Or, I don't know.
Yes, I write it down. That's
It has covered the Evergreen Community Library. So I think we've done justice to all those key features. Then I think all these things may not be necessary. All this.
I think you have to remove those things, yes. If you can delete them.
All right. But we still even have up here again, because this is meant to be like the menu link. Okay. Yeah, this is meant to be the menu. So this is where we're supposed to put the picture. Okay, it's making sense now.
So it's making sense.
Yeah, we just have to create idea.
Why don't you think you can delete from up, come down, and stop at this place then?
Let's move it to, since we have enough space up.
Okay.
This other page.
Showcase your thought-provoking topics. So who is good at one topic now? Just give us any problem.
You want to create accounts here?
Account meant to be below.
Sorry, guys. Do we have a search criteria?
You can just do one.
Sorry. There's also we need to have a search criteria whereby you can search for a course. Unless I missed it.
Search criteria.
That is another functionality, not epic that you want to talk about. But we just focus on one epic and we are done with it. I think we have to start doing. Maybe to take this upper space there, just to, since we have time, you can just click login button. When you log in now, you can see course title, course this. So you visit the page now, then this place where your cursor is moving, you can create a login detail there. So customer log in there, then they can have access to this course title, description and things. So maybe we can take the opportunity and just
yeah, that's fine.
Since we have that time. So once you visit the site, the first thing is just the landing page, then the login details to log in and have access to the course. Browse the courses that you're doing. Or you can expand it. You can cancel down. Just cancel down. Take this one. It's already here already.
Okay.
You just pick this side here. Take it here. And instead of stressing yourself, take down.
Okay.
Then take this thing here. Take it. Then you do it like that. I don't know why it's not showing there. So you can copy one of these two here. Make it up here.
This is okay. Email and password.
And the next one is to come down here and create
password.
Password.
Then you can see password. Yeah. Then you pick this one.
Can you add the forgotten password or something?
Yeah, don't worry. You get to the stage. Then you take the opportunity. So what do you want us? Is it to log in or to create an account or what?
No, I think what you are doing is correct. Just put the button in the middle.
Yeah, to log in.
Yeah.
To log in because we want you to just log in.
No, you are correct. You're already doing. Okay, good. Then, you made mention of reset password or forgot password.
Okay, forgot.
Yeah, so you can put it here. Put that forgot password link here. The link. No, leave this one like this. Leave this one like this.
The text link. There's a text link beneath the login, yeah?
Okay, that's fine.
Just type forget password or forgot password.
If you call these guys away.
Mhm.
If you can make this guy to be visible, it's not okay. Leave it like that.
The summit button.
Yeah, you can change the color.
No, but it's not very visible, yeah.
You can leave the image there now. I mean, it doesn't.
No, he's talking
It's a
about
design.
he's actually talking about the summit button to make it visible. Right? It's not visible.
All right, guys, we have 2 minutes.
We have just 2 minutes. We need to save this things out.
Oh, you don't need to save it. It's already on the mirror board. So
Okay.
So
Emmanuel, would you like to Emmanuel, would you like to present what we have to the main group since you worked on it? What do you say?
Don't say no, please. Huh? Just those. Don't say no.
I'm asking if you would like to present our work in the main chat. Yeah, okay, thank you. I think that's all.
1 minute more.
Yeah, I think that's all we can do.
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
Well done,
Right,
everyone.
great work, team. Great work.
Wow. That was an intense team collaboration, by the way. And you guys didn't realize, but we're hearing everything you were saying. It was being streamed. So, can everyone hear me, by the way? Good.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. So we were able to successfully work on one of the case studies. But before I call on whoever is going to be presenting for that group, I want to get feedback from at least 3 people. They're going to unmute and speak, but I want to find out, if this is your first time working on a wireframe such as this, could I have your hands up? You've never worked on a wireframe. It was absolutely new to you. Okay, let's see. We have more people. Oh, 4 people, 5. Okay, so firstly, I hope you have been able to at least learn something and understand the way collaboration basically works, because as business analysts, you cannot work in isolation. You need people, you need a team. So doing this has actually helped you to also apply some of the business analysis competencies, core competencies that we're supposed to have. And this was super helpful. I believe this was super helpful. So now to the second group of people. You have worked on a wireframe before, but this case study is tough. Let me see a raise of hand. The case study is tough. The requirements were unclear. Do I have someone like that? Okay, so maybe the requirements were clear enough and it wasn't tough. You have never worked on a wireframe using Miro before. You've used other platforms and not Miro. Good. Now, and correct me if I'm wrong, with the other platforms that you've used, what's the difference between Miro and the ones you've used? For the heavy balsamic users, I also use balsamic, but I want to be sure. Let me also hear from someone. You can unmute. You've used balsamic. What's the difference between this and balsamic?
Balsamic is 100% user friendly in terms of the the low fidelity icons and elements that you're working with. Yes, and also if you're using Azure RP, I use Azure RP very well. If I use Azure RP, I love doing the prototype with it. So stakeholders are like 100% feel like, okay, well, this is the website already. So compared to Miro, I just use Miro for collaboration because it needs more understanding of how to move the cards and the text and things. So there are confusion. They need to get understanding of how that is done.
Okay. Now, with the drag and drop, with the clicking, with the texting, with the editing, what's the difference between this and Balsamic?
Balsamic is the go.
No, Balsamic is definitely the go. No, sure. Like, what's the difference? There's something I'm trying to bring out from this.
Yeah, sometimes people move elements wrongly, and when you are selecting, another person is selecting, they don't know what they're moving. And then to type text, they'll start asking, how do I type text? And then instead of typing text in point A, they might be typing it in point Z.
Yeah.
So there's that confusion there.
Now, thank you very much for that. Now, one major thing about all these tools is that the knowledge is transferable. Because of your knowledge in Balsamic, you have idea, like, regardless of how Miro wants to be misbehaving, I should be able to drag and drop. I should be able to edit. So for some of all those tools, wireframing, processes, anything, the knowledge is transferable between tools. So if you learn how to use one very well, and you're basically new to another platform, just take your time, as patiently as possible, observe that. And the truth is not all the time. When you're developing your wireframes or even your mockups, you will be the only one most of the time developing it. Then when you are done with your end product, you now send for review or for feedback or get your stakeholders to take a look. But this one you are doing is just like you're having 10 business analysts working on one particular thing. In an organization, it's very difficult for you to see that. Every business analyst is working on his or her own project. So the knowledge is transferable. Now, for the one case study we're able to work on, I want to get who is going to be the presenter for that particular team. I know they were begging somebody that please don't say no. Yes. That is the one that has to present it.
I'll present for them.
All right, please go ahead.
All right. I don't know if you can share your screen. Share the mirror board or something from your side.
I could.
Oh, you should. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, I could share the screen for.
Okay.
Yep, and share. Can everybody see the screen?
It's loading from my end. Yes, I can.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I can.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and reshare. What about now? Can everybody see now?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so this is what we have, and this is for the online library. Carry on, Manuel.
Okay. Based on the case study that we had to look at the whole lot of write-ups there. So our focus was on the user, what the user needs to do on the web form. So it's a learning platform, like it's a library. So we decided to come up with a logo for it. But this is based on agreement when we had a discussion with the stakeholders if they feel that logo is okay for them. Then we said, okay, we come up with a login details because when you go to the website, your landing page, you need to have a login details since the library, so I can have access to the courses and things like that. And part of the requirement that was there's the epic there, that one of the high level there is course browsing. And there's course browsing, another course browsing, there are also some features and that they need, which is but what we have, we said the title is the Evergreen Community Library. And what we have there is to browse. Oh, there's a mistake here. It's supposed to be course title there. I don't know how that changed. So the first one we have was course title, which is there. So when you log into the site, you put the course title, you see your course title. Then the next one is for you to brief description of your course title. You have a description. Then part of the requirement is instructor option. The instructor name will be there. Then select the date and time and location if you want it in person or online learning. Then you tick the one you prefer. Then the next one is the category. So what category are you looking at? Is it technology? Is it arts or language? You select it and give submit. Have a submit button there and click submit. Based on time, that's what site to come up with.
Yep, and that's all we have. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much. Firstly, does anybody have any feedback for them? I want someone to give a feedback. If you're a senior BA and a junior BA brings this to your table, what feedback are you going to give? You guys can still keep sharing your screen, please.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
No worries.
Is anybody bold enough? Like, I think I want to give feedback. It can be a good, like, it doesn't have to be like that, oh, they did something wrong. No, it can be a good feedback. You don't necessarily have to spot the flaws. There's one beautiful thing there that I was not expecting. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, makes sense.
There are a whole lot of stuff for us to do there, just time. It's easy to implement. It's very easy to implement. So we looked at it like ability to view all available courses in a discrete format. So we're able to come up with things like that. So we'll just wait for feedback. And this also boils down to having that session with the stakeholder who needs this thing and see if there are changes we can start discussing and make improvements on that.
Good. All right. Firstly, I like the image that you guys have there. I don't know where that image came from, but it was making brain. And I was like, okay, that's good. That's a nice feel. I don't know who added it. Secondly, I think I appreciate you guys, your collaboration and attention to details. There's somebody on the call that, even though we still had time constraints, she kept saying, oh, a list, it says it should be in a list of grid format, this. Attention to details is a very, 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 very important skill set you need as a business analyst. If you don't pay attention to details, you miss a lot of things. And the details doesn't even necessarily need to be in text. At times, you might actually have to study your stakeholders' body language, like their body language. You might need to study their reaction. They might say yes, but from their face, you can see that they are telling you blatant no. So also, like, that attention to details, not just textual details, is also very key. And there was somebody that I can't remember the name of the person, but it was a lady. That's a really, 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 really important skill. Then there was something that came up. They were having a conversation about drop downs. Governmental regulations, this. That conversation, now the whole goal of this thing is not even just the mock-up or what you guys are working on, is to see how you bond in a team, how you manage yourselves in a team. Now, somebody came up and said, governmental regulation says no drop down again. Then somebody was not clear. She heard it the first time, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I think she kept quiet for a while, focused on other things, and came back and asked. And her coming back to ask, she asked in a very, very polite way. That's a huge win. Like, your stakeholder collaboration and management is very, 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 very important. That slight conversation could have actually caused a lot of issues. I like the way she asked. She wasn't clear about it. She needed to understand where the person was coming from. Then another person came up and said, then the differences, like country differences, or where the regulation came from. Now that's where clear and unclear requirements comes in. Now we know that there's a regulatory this. We're not sure of where that regulation is coming from. So if you're working on it, like in a team as a business analyst, there are regulatory restrictions that we also need to know and note. So even when you are working on wireframes, if say that particular drop-down restriction is in the United Kingdom, for example, and this is a governmental project, whether you like it or yes, this one is not whether I like it or not. Whether you like it or yes, you cannot put the drop-down there because there's a regulation. So if you check the Dobac, and for those that are not familiar with the Dobac, when you're dealing with requirement prioritization, one major thing that trumps this thing in requirement for prioritization is what? Regulatory requirements. Because any organization that is not regulatory, like compliant with their regulations, they are quarter to failing. So the fact that regulatory requirements came up and it was addressed in the course of that conversation is a huge win. And personally, I actually appreciate that. And I like the resolution that came up. We had different perspectives, but all those perspectives, it did not lead to fights. That's one thing that's really very, very important. Because if, especially for those in the IT space, let me paint a picture. There's a regular fight. Is there anybody that is an IT business analyst here? Let me see if I have my people in the house. You are in the IT space, you're a BA.
Yes.
God bless you. Let me now tell you, there's one fight that used to happen. The front end developer is saying something. The back end is saying no. Have you been in that fight before?
Yes.
Then the BA is not trying to like, you guys, you know, this is the requirement and this. They are not listening to the BA. Then the person that will not spoil the whole show is the project manager that now says, well, regardless of your arguments, the timeline for this project is 2 weeks. So if you like argue back and forth, I have to stick to my timeline because my cost, my budget is very important. In that situation, what will you do? You are not the only one now. The world does not revolve around you as a business analyst. You're dealing with other fields. You're dealing with other technical experts. So you need to learn your stakeholder management, stakeholder collaboration. Very, 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 very important. So I believe I've been able to, I have 2 questions or 2 people with raised hands. Lillian, do you want to go first? Lillian or Adeolua, you guys have your hands raised. Do you have questions?
Yes, this is Adeolua.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I just have a question as regards eliciting and managing stakeholders. Now, assuming you as a business analyst, you've gotten your requirements, but you're not sure whether the stakeholder actually mentioned this particular requirement. Do you go back to meet the stakeholder? Because it doesn't actually really look nice on you going back to meet the stakeholder that, oh, did you actually say this? Or do you get?
Let me not tell you. Whether it looks nice or it doesn't look nice, that's not the problem.
You have to.
Because if you don't go back to verify that requirement or validate, there's a difference in the verification and the validation. Requirement verification, requirement validation. But if you don't go back to do that and the project is over, and that stakeholder, God helps you, is a wonderful stakeholder, it will fall back on you that you missed it. So as a business analyst, there's this thing we have to do. Cushion yourself with enough support system. If you're having a requirements meeting, you are trying to, maybe your discovery, record the meeting. That's the first thing. I never go into any of my meetings with any of my stakeholders without having that meeting recorded. If I forget, I have a cushion because as that meeting is being recorded, I'm writing. But apart from that, now we have a lot of AI note takers. If your organization allows them, I think Otter.ai, there's one. Any note taker that you have that you can access for artificial intelligence, use it. Then if you're like for us, we make use of Microsoft, that we have this I've forgotten the name, but I can't remember if it has to do with co-pilots, but it does. God bless you. Phantom, Fireflies, or AI. See, arm yourselves with yourself with all these things, because then at the end of that meeting, when it has generated every single thing, you compare it with the notes, the personal notes that you even took, compile it and send it to the person. Me, I love evidences a whole lot. So in my organization, they know that if you're coming to me to question whatever requirements are finalized on, you have to bring your facts. You have to bring your basis. So at the end of the meeting, I will send you the meeting notes and tell you to confirm if I missed out anything. As a business analyst, you are managing your stakeholders quite all right, but you have to be smart. Because if anything happens, it's you that they will come back to. Because many organizations say, oh, what's the role of a BA? What's the role of a BA? You would understand the criticality of your role when requirements are missing and they don't find somebody to blame. It's you that they'll blame. I don't know if you understand the picture. So anything that would help you to arm yourself with all those things, do it. And don't say because, oh, it will look somehow. No. When they are coming back to meet you and telling you that you did not do this thing right, it will not look somehow to them that time. Do you understand? So you go back as many times as you can, but ensure that it's also not you that is making that mistake because of a shortcoming. Arm yourself with all these things that would help you, such that even at the end of that meeting, you send meeting minutes, you send notes, oh, this. Then even if I have the notes and like whatever, and I still ask them, oh, I'm still not clear about this. Understand them as an individual, like beyond the projects, beyond the work. Learn to understand them. Now, I know that my IT team people, they are very wonderful people. I'm dealing with people in a government institution. So when I was in consulting, I could go on Teams and I would get a response. I can go on Teams now. I will see that they've read it, but they will not give me a response for the next 2 days. So because I know my people, and I know that if anything happens, they are coming back to meet me. I don't like blames, especially when it has to do with the quality of my job. And that's one thing we have to imbibe or inculcate as business analysts. I walk up to them, I go to their office. Is this what you meant? Let me be sure. When they say, I'll paint a scenario for them. If in this situation, is this what you meant? Because if you are not clear and there's a problem, most times before they go, if they even go to the project manager, whose job is it to deal with the requirements and everything? Is the business analyst. So that's the criticality of your role. So confirm as many times as possible. Very important. Does anybody have any question? Other question? You're welcome. Any other question? All right. At this point, thank you very much, Oga Dobac, for this opportunity. I really appreciate it, and it was nice seeing and meeting everybody again. Thank you.
Thank you to Esther. It was a wonderful session. Please let's send in our reactions. Let's drop our precision messages on the chat. It was indeed an impactful session. Esther, thank you so very much. And we know when we reach out to you, you always, show up for us. So we really want to say a very big thank you to you. Thank you so much. All right, please, if you're yet to follow Esther on LinkedIn, please, I don't know if anyone can drop, David, if you can assist, drop the link to our LinkedIn profile. Esther, if you can do that, that would be nice. All right, so please let's ensure we're following Esther on LinkedIn. So any announcements for us? I think we've come to the end of today's session. David, do you have anything for us so we can wrap up? It's the second
asking about the second team.
Oh,
yeah, they were not able to work on the case study, but I think a lot of people dropped off. Actually, that was the major thing. So we're able to successfully work on one case study. But in your spare time, you can work on the second case study. You have the link, just try it out. Even the first case study, that's the one you worked on. If you still want to try your hands on, you actually have access. You still have access to that with your visitors link. So you can.
And I have a question. It's regarding resources. Like someone wants to study more on wireframes, what resources could they use?
The truth is there are a whole lot of resources, and the business analysis community has there are a whole lot of resources. Firstly, a whole lot of communities that you can join. Dobac, for example, I know on one of their community groups, I've seen some documents that they actually upload. You can check it out. For resources, other resources, there are a whole lot of people you can follow. There's this guy I follow on LinkedIn.
What's his name?
He's an Indian guy. He has a whole lot of templates. Like, he's my go-to when it comes to case studies, templates.
Does his name start with D?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know the guy.
I can't remember his name. That's weird. I'm coming. He's on the B.A. Force Multiplier. Give me a minute. So that's another person that you can look for or look out for. He's very, very hands-on. He has a lot on his plate. Yeah, Diwakar. Diwakar saying, yeah. So Diwakar might not respond immediately, but if you can get him to respond, he has a ton of resources. There are IIBA chapters and communities that you can be a part of. Like for our IIBA chapter, for example, we had an SDLC simulation plan for March, but we're moving it to later on in the year. I think we're going to communicate that to everybody. But the essence of the SDLC simulation is we are practically simulating a software development, like going through the SDLC lifecycle, and we're going to have the entire project team. So we're going to have people acting as the project managers, the software developers, we're going to have the business analysts, like a full-blooded project team, the QA testers and all that. So due to situations beyond our control, we had to move that. So if it's something you want to be a part of, just be on the lookout. It will definitely be publicized when we're doing that. And it's going to be for a whole month. So for business analysts that have not been in that IT space and want to have an idea of what it means or what it entails, there's going to be a whole lot of wireframing, a whole lot of process mapping. So, and imagine doing that for a whole month. So things like that, just be on the lookout. I know James, James Dean is also a very very good resource. XR Jayan, that there are a whole lot of them. I'm trying to remember one other guy. He has a YouTube page, but his YouTube page is the Passionate BA.
He's Ukrainian.
Yes. Oh God. David knows him. David has appeared live on one of his sessions, and we did a December on the first day of Christmas something. Can't remember his name, but we have a whole lot of people. So, and Laura Brandenburg, there are a whole lot of business analysts doing a whole lot of things. Follow them. Some of them actually write books. Some of them publish a whole lot of things that you can use that will be very, very helpful. YouTube is there, but just ensure that it's not like you're just consuming things. Also sieve what you eat, because you have to be careful. There are some informations that are outdated. Be sure that you're getting updated information. Then if you are, say, in the US or the UK and you have a .edu account, some of all those things that we are paying 1,000,001 for license, you get it free. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, Esther. So last call for any more questions. Final call. Any more questions? All right, so I guess we're done. All right, thank you once again, Esther. Thank you so much. So before we go, we have a few announcements. So if you're yet to follow us on our social media, please ensure you're doing that, because next week we have another session coming up, and you also do not want to miss that. So ensure you're following us on our social media platforms, and you're also a member of our community. And finally, so we have a mentorship program. If you're interested in, taking the program, we'll be sending out a form to the group, to the community group, so you can fill the form, and we'll reach out to you from there. All right, so I think that's it for today. Thank you everyone for joining the call. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great evening, morning, and afternoon. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.